Sir Peter, first of all, thank you for clearing so much of your diary to speak to me this week.
Not a problem. Do you want a coffee? I can buzz my secretary.
The water is fine, thanks. As I'm sure you know from the publisher, the publication date for your autobiography has been brought forward to capitalise on recent media attention surrounding your family. For obvious reasons, the focus of your biography is now going to be on your relationship with your daughter, Melanie Lange.
So it would seem. Well, please remember that I have full approval of all copy. The last thing my family needs is more lies being told about them. It's important to me that people, Melanie's fans, hear the actual truth.
Absolutely, of course. We're on the same team, Sir Peter. I'm recording these sessions so there can be no mixing of words. I'll be filling in the gaps with the puff about the whens and the wheres, but the personal stuff is all you.
Let's get on with it then.
Right, yes. I'm sorry for diving in with this one. You lost your wife, Linda Lange, to aggressive breast cancer in the summer of 2002. Can you tell me about the immediate aftermath for you and your daughters, Zara and Melanie, and how you coped with this tragic loss?
You don't mess about, do you? I like that. There are no words to truly describe the grief I felt at losing Linda. It was the worst time of my life. Linda supported me, inspired me, she made me laugh, she told me off when I did things wrong. And let me tell you, there comes a point in life for those who reach a certain level of success, like I've done, when the people around them become too scared to say when that person is doing things wrong, but not Linda. She saved me from making some terrible business decisions. Any time I had an idea, it was always Linda I went to first. She was every bit as business-minded as I was, but the moment she fell pregnant with Zara, she was adamant. She wanted to stay at home. Linda's death hit me hard and broke my heart, but it hit the girls a lot harder. Linda was a fantastic mother. She was there at every assembly, every bake sale, every party. Everything those girls did or wanted to do, Linda was there, cheering them on. She was their world. I'm ashamed to say that I missed most of their childhoods building up Lange hotels. When Linda died, Zara was 18 and studying for her A-levels, Melly was 14, and I remember when the dust was settling that summer, there was this feeling of a huge void in our family.
How did you cope on a practical level after Linda's death?
At first we tried Zara, looking out for Melly in between studying, but that didn't work out too well. Those girls are chalk and cheese. Linda was the bridge between the girls. I had hoped that the shared grief of losing their mother would create a bond between them, but it didn't. Zara and Melly didn't hate each other. They never have, despite what the media would have you believe. They're sisters, and they love each other. They got on fine. They hung out in front of the TV, normal sister stuff. I shouldn't have asked Zara to look out for Melly. Zara had enough to cope with, and as with everything Zara does, she took the role seriously, nagging Melly to do her homework and tidy up, that kind of thing. But Melly has never been the type to take orders, and it caused friction between the girls. So I asked my neighbour at the time, a woman called Sunny, if she could help out. I thought of her as a housekeeper, I suppose, an ageing matriarch type who would cook the meals and do the washing while the girls were at school. Sunny was a widow, too, and her children had grown up and left home. I thought Sunny's care would give the girls someone to come home to. But Melly was having none of it. She did everything she could to avoid coming home. She'd stay at friends' houses overnight whenever she could, or she'd linger at school or at the park as long as possible. I got the message loud and clear that no one was going to fill Linda's shoes. It was a worrying time. Even more than the devastation I felt at losing Linda was the fear I felt for the girls, especially Melly.
What were you scared of?
I was scared I'd lose them as well if I didn't do something drastic. So I did the only thing I could think of. I cut back my hours at the office. I worked from home whenever I could, and I made sure I was there for the girls every day after school and college, in the evenings and at the weekends. It almost cost me my business. The board weren't thrilled with the prospect of me spending time away from the office. They couldn't see the vision I had for Lange Hotels. Of course, it all worked out, but it wasn't perfect by any means. I was being pulled in a lot of directions, but first and foremost, I started to realize that I knew nothing about my daughters' lives. I took the time to get to know them better and spent some proper time with them. I once read that people think we lived in a palace with servants and gold-plated teacups, but it was total bullshit. It was just me and the girls.
You mentioned Zara and Melanie were chalk and cheese. In what ways were they different?
In every way. Zara is tall, like me, pretty in her own way, not that she's ever cared about her appearance beyond looking presentable. Back then, she was focused on her studies and was set on joining the business straight after her A-levels. She'd been helping out, answering phones and doing admin in the holidays for years. It was a very natural step for Zara to join Lange Hotels.